Promising Young Woman was directed and written by Emerald Fennell and stars Carrie Mulligan, Beau, Alison Brie, and others. And it tells the story of a young woman traumatized by a tragic event in her past who seeks out revenge against those who cross her path. Happy New Year, guys, and welcome back. I hope you guys had a fun New Year's, as we call it, or New Year's Eve, as you call it. And we'll get right into it with the first movie that I've seen in the new year, even though it didn't come out this year. It's a film that it was on my watch list, but I just could not catch up, could not get the time to watch it. So I'll just get right into it with Promising Young Woman. And this is one of those movies that you go into and you're expecting one thing, you're expecting that you know exactly or mostly how it's gonna play out. And honestly, I would not have seen that finale coming if my life depended on it. So let's get right into it. And I'll start by saying this film, well, this is a first time director. And I'm always eager to see stuff from first time directors and writers, just because you know that they're not gonna play it safe. You know, they're gonna, whether it works out or it doesn't, you know you're gonna get something, at least something worth seeing, you know, interesting, something to pique your interest and not the same old thing that you've seen 100 times. And that's definitely not what I got here. This film was, it was a lot, but in a good way. It's difficult not to get into details and spoil things, but I will say, first of all, the tone of this film, it's a bit it goes for that whole dark comedy vibe, and yet due to the amazing choice in songs that they use here, you know, there's this really creepy version of Britney Spears' Toxic in the finale that I absolutely loved. The song choices here and the way the director shoots this, the pacing, it just makes you're waiting for that second shoe to drop, so to speak. We start this film in a way that seems like you know exactly where it's going. There's this woman, I promise I'm not giving away anything here, guys, because of the fact that all of this is in a trailer. And there's this young woman played by Carrie Mulligan. She's in a bar. She's apparently very drunk. And there's a couple of guys, you know, of course, making lewd comments, that sort of thing. And one of those guys, played by, I believe his name is Adam Brody. I hope I have that correct. He is like, no, I'm not gonna leave her alone, you know, I'm a good guy, I'm gonna make sure she gets home safe, because that's what good guys do. And yet somehow they end up at his apartment, and remember, he's a good guy, but she's completely drunk, or at least that's what he thinks. And so this film delves into the whole concept of people who convince themselves they're doing the right thing, you know, and they kind of talk themselves out of why what they're doing is wrong. They know that they're heading down a dark path, but they keep making excuses for their behavior. So it touches on that. It touches on the trauma of, well, again, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it touches on past trauma and how we deal with that trauma. And Carrie Mulligan here, guys, Carrie Mulligan is an actress. She's usually really always good in the roles that she plays, but this was the first time I saw her in, not just in a whole different light, but in a role where I am positive I'm going to remember this performance. Of all her performances, this one is the one that it's going to stick with me long after. I know that's how good she is here. And her chemistry with the guy who plays Dave, Beau, I think is his name, their on-screen chemistry, it's so believable. The way that the relationship, the director gives it time to, you know, unfold in a very natural way that feels real. So you're buying into the chemistry, you're buying into all of the tones that he's delivering here. So even when you are very nervous about what exactly is going on, the movie never gives away too much. So you're not exactly sure what Carrie Mulligan's character is doing. I had all these scenarios going on in my head. I watch a lot of horror movies. So I was thinking, something along the lines of Dexter. And again, the tone of this, it shifts from this comedy to this almost dark, dramatic movie, to balance the tones of what the subject matter is. Because the subject matter here, it's not easy to talk about, and you don't want to joke about it either. You want to treat it with the respect it deserves. And yet, there is this dark comedic tone that resonates all the way through, and it works. The more I think about it, the more I think it works. The ending of this film, guys, the finale, like I said, I would not have seen it coming if I had 1,000 guesses. And the thing is, when I first saw it, I sat there and I didn't know what to feel. I was a bit numb. I was shocked, and then I was numb, and then I was angry. And then the more it unfolded and the more I thought about it, the more I liked the ending. And I would never think to myself that I would like an ending like this, but the ending works because this is a character who, she has basically sacrificed all of her life to seek a certain outcome for something that happened, something traumatic that happened. And it's the kind of thing that where you're never gonna get that you're never gonna get that satisfaction, because that's not the way these things work. These type of wounds, they leave scars, and those scars are always going to be there. So the way this ended, I felt like, after I gave it some thought, it's actually the perfect ending. And I know there's some people out there who's gonna disagree with that, because we don't want to see these types of endings. But for me, it worked. For me, this entire movie worked. I honestly can say that even with the tone shifting on me, every time I kept thinking, this isn't working, it would write itself. And honestly, it's the kind of film I can see myself revisiting time and time again, and just probably maybe feeling a certain way about certain things each time. Again, I don't want to give away anything, guys. I'll just stop right here, and I'll say, if you haven't seen Promising Young Woman, you should definitely check it out. It has great performances, perfect musical choices, a strange tone that somehow works with these shifts from comedy to drama to even some suspense and some thrills there. And one of Carrie Mulligan's absolute best performances. Guys, I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. And I highly recommend you check it out, and you let me know how you feel about that finale, because I definitely think it's one of the better ones. It's one of those finales you gotta let it sit with you for a while, and just see for yourself if you think it works. So Promising Young Woman gets a 7 out of 10. that was a little, this review for me was a little difficult because I really don't want to spoil this one, guys. And like I said, the tone of this film is so strange, but it works. It really does work. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that like button. It's always appreciated. If you're new and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, feel free to click on my face when it pops up right about there. And if you want to check out past videos, you can do that right about there. And that's gonna be it, guys. I did want to do a best of and worst of for 2020, but honestly, my writing reviews have been taking up a lot of my time, and I don't think I'm gonna get to it. That said, I did have the honor of doing an audio podcast with some friends of mine over on another channel. So I'm going to link on that for you guys, and you can check out my choices for best and worst of 2020 over there. I even have a top 20 horror of last year, because as you guys know, that's my jam. So you can check that out if you've got the time. And until the next one, guys, bye-bye.